Hey guys, welcome to Chat with KSC. It's your girl Kay, and today we're going to be discussing Brian Mcknight and what he had to say in his defense when everyone allegedly called him a bad dad for abandoning his children. But before we do jump into it, I do want to advise our YouTube family that this is indeed a podcast, and being that it is a podcast, you won't be able to see much of any visuals, but stick around for the show. Now, listen to what Brian Mcknight had to say.
I live in the present and the future. I am so proud of the man I am today, the husband I am to my wife Leilani, and the father I am to our children. I'm so proud of our love, our family, our life. So I will, without apology, continue to shout about it as loud as I can. If you can't help or handle seeing happiness and love, then I respectfully ask you, why are you even on my page? Maybe you should ask yourself that too. Another thing a lot of people have been talking about is the lawsuit my adult daughter Brianna brought against me a few years ago. There's been a lot of misinformation about the case and a lot of people who don't know what happened acting like they do. I think it is important to clear up some of that misinformation. In 2020, my biological daughter Brianna sued me for defamation, and I don't live in the breach of contract. I posted a page from the lawsuit here and the file number down below so you can look this up for yourself. And you will see that she did not ask for an apology or even ask that I remove the alleged false statement from the internet. All she asked for and all she wanted was money. The case was dismissed before there was any decision whether my statement about her was defamatory. We settled the case earlier this year, and I agreed to pay Brianna some money, but here's the interesting part. She sued me for defamation and breach of $1 million life insurance policy, and I agreed to pay her $318,000 with no admission of any wrongdoing whatsoever. You heard that right. She dismissed $1 million case in exchange for payment of $318,000 with no admission that I did anything wrong and no requirement that I retract my statement or remove it from the breach of contract. If someone said that I did something I didn't do and I won a case proving that I didn't, I demand a public apology. I demand an acknowledgement of wrongdoing, and I demand a retraction of statements. The face value of that life insurance policy was $300,000 with $18,000 worth of interest. I did not defame her. I made no false statements. I made up no stories. You can do what you will with that information in deciding who you think won the case. Internet. Finally, I want to address the abandonment issue for the last time. Those kids and I have had a long history of conflicts, mutual estrangements, and resolutions. But there was a time when we were truly a successfully blended family. Julia, Jack, BJ, Nico, and Brianna. Our home was filled with love and acceptance, so much so that the kids were all calling each other siblings, contrary to the picture that's been painted online. Christmases, birthdays, Thanksgivings, Friendsgivings, all spent together, even standing up for me as my best man in our wedding, along with their brother Jack, which I posted a pic of here. Shortly thereafter, the same conflict over money arose again. We parted ways, and the next thing I knew, there were 2 posts from Brian and Brianna in 2019 telling the world a completely different narrative for the reason why. Finally, I never abandoned anyone. Our estrangement was mutual, but those posts made any roads towards reconciliation and acknowledging them a dead issue. And I changed my will the next day. I've spent the last 30 plus years building a recognized, respectable name, and ironically, there are still people out there who are trying to smear my name while still carrying it, hoping to use it for their own benefit. I make absolutely no apologies for naming my infant son Brian. I want him and the world to know that he is the one who is my true legacy. So I'll be over here, continuing to love and protect my wife and our children as we continue to love our life.
And that is what Mr. Brian McKnight had to say for himself. And I call bullshit. I call bullshit on everything he said. For one, he said something about his daughter, and I wasn't able to catch exactly what he had said. It was something along the lines of her allegedly having sexual an intimate relationship with someone in her family. So it's something along the lines of like incest or something like that, allegedly. And he made those statements defaming his daughter. Now, if you made those statements about your daughter, right, and you're saying that those statements weren't true, you saying that those statements were actually true, then why did your the same way how you are saying that your daughter um took the settlement, then why did you settle with her? If you knew what you know and you say, okay, well, it's supposed to be true, then the same way how you're saying, oh, well, your daughter is the one that's lying and your daughter is full of shit because she settled with you and it was all about money, then why did you settle with her? Shouldn't you have stand 10 toes down on what you believed? So that's one thing that I call bullshit. Number two, doubling down on calling your children those children, not those children. It's my children, Mr. Brian McKnight. They're yours. Without you, they wouldn't have been in the world. No estrangement, no problems, no issues that you have with your children should allow you to say those children while freely accepting the children that you have from another marriage. I feel like this is Brian. Like, I've lost so much respect for him from this audio and watching this on YouTube. If you want to see it, it's on his YouTube page, Brian McKnight. I've lost so much respect for him because it's like you're supposed to be a man. A man, a real man, fixes the issues within his children, within his relationships. He takes his children to therapy. He fixes whatever issue it is. He protects them. He protects their secrets. He conceals them. He makes sure that that his children are okay, that they're a part of his will. How convenient for you to include that you changed your will the next day. That's a way to let them know that they're xed out of your will. Probably no reason, probably no wonder they're like feeling as though, hey, let me speak out and settle with you from now so I'll have some kind of money to pass down to my children. However they're feeling, that's just me saying that that's how your daughter may have been feeling. But it's like, come on, Mr. Brian, like, what? I've lost so much respect for this man because it's like, you listen to the music of the person, but then it's like when you see the character of who the person is, it's like, who this is who I've been listening to all this time. Now when back at one come on, I'm gonna be thinking about this and how much of an asshole he was to his own children. A man of your power, a man of your caliber should be able to afford the means to take care of your kids and rectify whatever problems, whatever estrangement that has been going on within your relationships. If it's money, then you fix it. If it's not being able to see eye to eye, then you fix it. It's the parent, like it's your job to have a relationship with your child. It's your job to make sure that your children are okay and good. They didn't ask to be here. And it sounds to me like your children want to have a relationship with you, but you're the one that doesn't want to have a relationship with them, based on the 2019 post that I saw. So I just feel like Mr. Brian McKnight really needs to get it together. He just doubled down on the abandonment. He doubled down on him not being a good father. He showed me why his children feel the way that they feel. And I would feel the same way as well. If my father got up on some platform and referred to me as that kid or that child, excuse me? Who you talking about? I'm your child. I feel like he tried to package it up really nicely and make it sound so good and make it sound so professional, but it was beautifully wrapped shit. Dog doodle wrapped in a box, in a Christmas box. That's how I felt about what Mr. Brian McKnight just said. But nonetheless, Other people are going to have their own opinions because we all have some kind of relationship. We all have estrangement within our relationship, especially our parental relationships, where one minute we're good with our parents, the next minute we're not. So we're all going to have different opinions. So I would love to hear your opinion, but I do feel like when you are rich and you have the means to work out a relationship, you should be doing everything to do so, especially at being the parent figure in the situation. But you know what? I want to hear your thoughts and comments for those of you who are listening to this on YouTube, and for those of you listening to this through Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We will talk next time. Laters.